Hello everyone, so welcome to a new video, and this time we will talk about the travel app planner. And actually it's called travel app in Udacity, but I think it's not a travel app because you don't make flights for people, you just make a planner, just like you want to know how will the weather be in your trip, your coming trip. For example, if you want to forecast this weather, if it's just like in the it's in the far future, for example, just like 14 days from now, or maybe you want to know what's in a couple of days, just like 2 days, 4 days, how will the weather be in a certain place. So this is all what we are doing right now. We're gonna do a planner, a travel app planner, that's all. And let me tell you, or let me at first, so this will be the first step. I will show you the project working before I do anything else. Of course, this is just like a Word file we made to just like to set what all the terms, what all the instructions, details of the project will be. And I'm gonna share it under the video for you, just like to be able to make a summary and understand the whole overview of your project. But let me first show you the project itself, how it is working in reality. So actually I have made the server here. This is the npm dev, and let's go to the localhost 8080 and see how the project will go. So this is just like a simple and humble front end, just like user interface. I know that you can make better, but I'm just making this just like for presentation. It's only for presentation. So if I'm gonna make this project for my GitHub or for just like applying it for projects, of course I will work more on the front end part and for the styling. But this is not the main concern for me actually, because I feel like I cannot teach you front end as much as you can learn by yourself. But what I can actually feel like I'm gonna add something else, I'm gonna add a useful touch in, which is the logic of the project. And that's why what I like to focus on, the server, the back end, and how you call the APIs and how you do all these stuff. This is where I find myself useful. So let me show you here how the project will work and how we will handle all the expected errors. And this is one of your missions, to understand what are all the expected errors gonna be, and to try to handle them in the front end and in the back end at the same time. So you have solutions for everything. So for example, I'm gonna first make a righteous call for the API. I mean a right one, no mistakes. Yes, here is a city, or maybe you can put the country. The API actually can handle both of them as long as you are putting something right. And let me do that in a couple of days from now and submit. So this is, as I told you, this is my humble feedback. Your trip starts in 3 days from now. The location is France, and the temperature is going to be 14.1 Celsius, and Celsius is how we measure things here in the Arab world. Maybe in Europe or something you have a Fahrenheit or something like this. And the weather is expected to be overcast clouds. And that's a picture coming from another API. So here you can see actually 3 APIs working together. One of them is actually getting you the location and giving you 2 things, the longitude and the latitude. And by these 2 things, you can go to another API, which is just like a weather API, and give it these locales. I don't know what is the name of the latitude and the longitude in English, both of them together called what, I don't know, but it gives you the temperature as long as you give them the precise longitude and latitude, and also the weather. And finally you go to another API, you give him the city, and he gives you a picture, which is the Pixabay or Pixabay, I don't know the name exactly, Pixabay or Pixabay, which is another API for pictures. But let's see how the final project handle the other errors. For example, if I put something like this, which is never gonna be a city, and submit, Well, here he made a call for the server and the server confirmed that this is not a city. Of course, I cannot handle that from the front end unless I get in the front end an array of all the possible cities in the world and make the error come from the front end, not from the back end. So the better thing is to call the API, and the API defines if this is a valid city or not. So here I cannot make any progress within the front end itself alone. But what if I didn't write anything? Here the error can be handled from the front end and from the back end. But of course, the faster thing is not to call the API in this case, because you don't have a city even. So look, you need to enter a city and you didn't take any time for that. So here we are actually curing this error on the user interface itself without going to the API and call it in vain. And the last thing is, what if I didn't put anything here, just like I cleared that? So actually he will not pass because I have put the handle error. Just like you have to pass the first step to go to the second step and start judging it. And it will actually just like it saves time, you know. So maybe Hamburg, that's a city, or maybe a name that is very near or close to a city name. And let's put now I put this city, but I didn't put the date. So he will tell me, please enter the date. Now let me put a date in the past like this and go. Date cannot be in the past. So now I'm handling all the possible error as I told you. Well, so now let's put a valid date, just like something in the future. And maybe we will put something just like in the far future, because we have another API, or maybe the same API, but it has a different function to handle, or a different, maybe you can say a different URL that handles the forecasted weather, which is greater than 16 days in the future. So your trip starts in 17 days. I'm sorry, greater than 7 days. I made it just like greater than 7 days. Your trip starts in 17 days. The location is Hamburg. Yes, there is a city named Hamburg. And the forecast here, I'm not putting temperature because this is actually only a forecast. Maybe true, it may be not. That's what the project required. And the maximum temperature expected 22, and the minimum temperature will be 13.4. The weather is broken clouds, and this is actually a picture that denotes the place. Well, I think my project is also responsive a little bit, except in the picture because I didn't handle that yet. But for the other parts, you will see that it is just like it is responsive, you see. So for these, just like in the bigger one, this goes to the right, but in the mobile screen it will go to the middle and it will be a bigger font size. So I guess this is a little bit good, and this just like it fits the matter. You don't need more. If you are just like going to get that to Udacity only, you're not going to put it in GitHub, or you will not be going to show it to the companies. But if you're going to show it to the companies, then I think you have to consume more time in making a better front end style. So this is the project, and now we will move on to see the recap.